Raider Nation, what's going on? You guys are watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to get into my top 5 overreactions after the Raiders' 17-13 win over the Denver Broncos. And if it sounds like I don't have a voice, it's because, well, I don't. I've been hooting and hollering, I've been screaming, and I just don't really have much left in the tank. But at the end of the day, it was an ugly win. But I always say this, a win is a win in the National Football League, and Derek didn't play well. Josh had a bad fumble. The Raiders had 3 turnovers, but the defense probably had maybe arguably their best game that they had the entire season. Now, sure, Drew Lock was the starting quarterback. The Broncos didn't have their starting QB, but the defense played well in today's game. So coming up here on today's show, my overreactions are based on the top 5 trending topics that I see going on right now around Raider Nation. So the first one coming up here is Derek Carr. He was bailed out. And what do I mean by this? He was bailed out. This one's for Chucky Heads, believe it, baby, by a phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal defensive performance by the overall Raiders defense. For the simple fact of, DC, he didn't have it today. And when you're able to win games, even when you don't have it, that's pretty good. Now, Carr, he was 20 of 25. Yes, I know what it says. 20 of 25 for 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The interception was literally right before halftime. He got picked off. It got returned all the way down to the 1-yard line. Then the Denver Broncos literally scored a touchdown. His fumble ended up basically stopping a pretty good Raiders drive. Luckily, McManus missed that field goal. But the reason why he got bailed out is simply because the defense held Denver to 3 points overall. I understand the Broncos scored 13, but I'm getting kind of yelled at a little bit on Twitter because I tweeted out, Derek Carr did not win this game. The Raiders defense did. And the only reason why I tweeted that out is because far too often, and even last week, people are like, oh, Derek won the game, Derek won the game, Derek won the game. No, he didn't, guys. It's a team sport. And there's been tons of times where Derek has bailed out a bad Raiders defensive team. There's no doubt about it. But when you look at the numbers since week 9, the Raiders right now, they have a bottom 5 offense. And it's not that I don't like DC. I will always like DC. But you're looking at a quarterback who's got 20 touchdowns, 17 turnovers, and if it wasn't for a great defensive performance again today, if it wasn't for how well the defense has played this season, this Raiders team's not even close to being in the playoff picture. So, guys, go ahead. Let me know. I want you to grade Derek Carr's game up against the Denver Broncos. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's show. So for those of you that don't know what that means, what it means you're going to get hit with a YouTube ad break. I want you to scroll on down and give me your honest opinion. Grade Derek Carr's game against the Denver Broncos. Now, for me, I would probably give DC somewhere around a D grade simply because he did not play well and got bailed out, which he got bailed out because the Raiders defense was the absolute MVP. Look at these numbers here. If you're able to hold any NFL team, honestly, you hold an NFL team to these type of numbers, like in terms of just one half, that's good. For an entire game, 158 total yards, 140 passing yards, 18 rushing yards. This is the number that I want all of y'all to look at because you can say what you want about them not having their starting quarterback, and realistically, I don't think Drew Lock has that much of a step down than Teddy Bridgewater. And when you look at the Raiders' defense, they didn't start Malcolm Kuntz. No idea why. We'll talk about Nate Hobbs here in a sec. But realistically, you were without Jonathan Abram. You had Jonathan Hankins out. You've been missing a lot of your key defensive players. And you held a really good running game for Denver to 18 rushing yards. It was a good overall game plan. It was a great second half adjustment. And the fact that the Raiders gave up 10 points on defense, I'm telling you, watch the tape. This was one of the best defensive games that I've seen Gus Bradley coach, one of the best overall games that I've seen this Raiders team play. Now, if you want the Raiders to make the playoffs, you guys know the drill. Subs for Raiders dubs. I did it last week. I'm just going to do it again. If you watched my watch party for Raiders and Broncos, I literally wore the same jersey. I wore the same pants, the same underwear. I did everything the exact same, and I'm going to do the same thing next week. Why? If the Raiders are winning games, that's all I care about. I'm going to judge Derek Carr because he's the quarterback. I'm going to judge Josh Jacobs. I'm going to judge the defense. It's my job to do that. What's your job? To cooperate with me, watch the games, interact with me. So all I ask you to do is hit that big red button that says subscribe and join me tomorrow for my live show. And remember, I go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Let's go to my next overreaction. Jacobs, good and bad. Really no other way to put it besides that. In the first half, Josh did not play well. He was averaging less than 4 yards per carry. Couldn't really get a lot going. Had a really costly fumble, which led to a Broncos field goal. That made the game 7-6. And on my show, I was like, man, I hope that really doesn't impact the Raiders later on in this game. Now, whatever the second half adjustment is, and I understand that Jacobs, you're going to look at his numbers, you're going to see 27 carries for 129 yards. But can we please give the Raiders offensive line a lot of credit? Because anytime Derek plays bad, people just point the finger and they're like, oh, the offensive line stinks. Did Brandon Parker get beat one time, which led to a Carr fumble? Yes, it did. But the run blocking in today's game by Andre James, spectacular. I thought Brandon Parker actually run blocked halfway decent. Alex Leatherwood was really good. Colton Miller was really good. Sure, John Simpson got called for a hold, which I think was actually on the very first play of today's game. But the second half adjustments and the overall running game is the reason why the Raiders won this game. Because Carr did not play well. Peyton Barber had a rushing touchdown. Josh was able to run the football, run out the clock. That's why the Raiders won the game. A good running game and a great defense. So what I want you guys to do now is rate Josh Jacobs' game, because going into halftime, I tweeted out, I said this, is it time to trade Josh Jacobs? And most of those votes that came in were outstanding yeses. Now, he was able to finish the game strong. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and don't worry, we're going to talk about all that kind of good stuff in the offseason. But I'm talking about today's game and today's game only. I want you to rate Josh Jacobs' game from a scale from 0 to 100. 0 was terrible. 1, it was the best game that you've seen him ever play. 29 carries, no. 27 carries, 129 and a fumble. I'm going to go ahead and give Josh a 75 overall. The fumble cost us, but he looked really good down at the stretch, which is when it matters the most. Now, I don't know about y'all. Always looking for an awesome sale, and maybe Santa wasn't all that kind to you, and maybe you need a new t-shirt, sweatshirt. I don't even care. Hooded sweatshirt. We got sweatpants. We got all sorts of awesome Raiders gear. Maybe even a new hat. I know it's cold out, right? Head on over to chatsports.com/Raiders sale, where you can get a whole bunch of Raiders gear on sale. And it's not just the gear that you see over here to my right. It's a whole bunch of different hats, a whole bunch of different hoodies, a whole bunch of just different stuff in general. Chatsports.com/Raiders sale. That link is available for you all in the comments and in the description. If they had a voice that you could get down there, believe me, I would go buy it right now. Let's go to the next thing here. It's around Nate Hobbs. And did the outstanding rookie get benched? He kind of did. He ended up getting benched in this game, and he was playing special teams. I get it. He was unable to go last week due to COVID, and he got benched because of Keyshawn Nixon. Now, I do want to say this. I was impressed by the way Nixon played. I thought he brought good physicality, and maybe the reason why they did it is because they were more confident in Nixon's ability in the running game. He did make a few key stops. The really big stop that he made was Drew Lock was able to get away, and I thought he was going to be able to rush for a first down. Nixon tripped him up, and it was a fourth down, led to a Broncos punt. Here's the issue, though. No disrespect to Nixon. He is not going to be the future of the Raiders. Nate Hobbs has played so damn well this season, I would even put him in a top 30 overall category for cornerback play. He's been one of the best rookies the entire season. So for this coaching staff to put Nate Hobbs on the bench and still play him at special teams, I'm sorry. I do not get it. And I'm going to go back to me just simply saying this Raiders coaching staff, I got into an argument a little bit earlier before the show around, just the Raiders playing players that they have favoritism over. That's not what good coaches do. Now, sure, defense played well, everything worked out, but can we all just wonder what the hell is going on? Why would you ever bench Nate Hobbs? It makes zero sense to me. So give me your thoughts on this. Why is Nixon playing over Nate Hobbs? The only explanation I can come up with, or explanations, is they were more confident in Nixon in the running game, which doesn't make sense because Hobbs has been good against the run this season. And then number 2, the Raiders are just playing favorites. They want to put Keyshawn Nixon in the game instead of Hobbs. I like that Desmond Trufant played over Brandon Faison. Faison's been getting picked on. I thought Trufant played a pretty good game today. This is definitely going to be a story that I'm going to try to keep you guys up to date on the entire week, but my thoughts are it doesn't make sense, and they're playing favorites with Nixon over Nate Hobbs, and it's one of the reasons why the Raiders are going to end up cleaning house this offseason. Now, if you disagree with any of my takes, please, I want you guys to disagree with me. If we live in a world where everyone agrees, it's just a boring life. I mean, it's simply that. I like when people get mad at me on Twitter. I like when people hit me with their, thoughts on Instagram, because that just means you're passionate to me. I'm a passionate dude. The other reason why I don't have a voice is because I've been hanging out with my family all week, and I want to say thank you to Jack Lauderay behind the scenes, who worked hard getting all of our shows ready this week, because I wanted to go home and visit my family. I'm excited for him to go visit his. Now, at the end of the day, it's what the holidays are all about. They're about the family interacting. So please, hit me up on IG. Let me know what you're thinking. Give me your honest opinion, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. Let's go to the final overreaction here. It's Raiders. They're still alive, baby. And everything that you're seeing on Twitter is just won, not done. That's what I'm going to say. Just won, not done. Now, before we get into the NFL playoff picture, will the Raiders make the playoffs? Type Y for yes, or I want you to go ahead and type N for no. Another reason to subscribe to the Raiders Report, I posted on our YouTube community a poll of how many games are the Raiders going to win. Right now, 52% are coming in, which for 10 wins. Also, I posted on our Raiders community page a video of our AFC playoff picture, which I filmed on Chat Sports Sunday night. Now, that video is right before the Monday Night Football game for the Dolphins and Saints game. But as it stands right now, here's what the AFC playoff picture is looking like. The Chiefs, they clinched the West. The Titans, they're the number 2 seed at 10-5. Then you have the Bengals 9-6, the Bills 9-6, Colts 9-6. But here's the thing. Now, you guys, everyone who's looking right now, like, wait a minute. The Raiders beat the Ravens. Why are the Ravens 8-7 and have the advantage over the Raiders? Here's the reason. I did my math. It's simply because of when you look at all the tiebreakers between common opponents between the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Ravens actually have the best overall record, because the Chargers, they actually have the tiebreaker, or the Baltimore Ravens have the tiebreaker over the Chargers have the tiebreaker over the Raiders have a tiebreaker over the Ravens. So that's why Baltimore is sitting there at 8-7. But if the Miami Dolphins, they win on Monday Night Football, they actually then have the number 7 seed. And again, it goes down to overall tiebreakers between common opponents, despite the Raiders having the tiebreaker win over the Miami Dolphins. So here's the Raiders' remaining schedule. If the Raiders win their remaining 2 games, they are in the playoffs. 100% lock it in, because the Chargers lost to the Houston Texans. I know we've been saying for a while, Raiders are done. But I always said this, I will not give up on this team until the fat lady sings. If you don't know that analogy, which I found out last week, Sam didn't know what that analogy was, and I was mind blown by it. But if the Raiders beat Indianapolis and they beat the Chargers, they are in. If the Raiders, lose one of these games, because of all the teams that lost today, because of all the tiebreakers, the Raiders still have a chance to get in. Now, I'll keep you guys up to date the whole entire week on a more in-depth look at the Raiders playoff situation, but the Raiders are still alive. Please do not forget that. If you made it this far in the video, I want you guys to enjoy your entire Monday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notifications, and join me tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Raiders, 8-7, got a chance to get in.